Hey guys, this is Black117 or Weber, and we're off in week 3 as we're battling Granbell. So, it's a very interesting matchup if you ask me, because if you just look at our teams, our squads. We both brought Latias. We both brought a Psychic, one base 600 Psychic Pokemon. We both brought Ground type. We have a Swords of Justice, and I guess a Water type, and I think we brought everything. Like, we think we've just brought about just about every typing. Well, I don't know. We'll just get into the game. So, so Granbell has a very strong defensive team with Brachion, Mega Latias, Jolteon, Suicune, and Gliscor, and Celebi. And other mons he had, I think, were like Etrab, Porygon Z, and I think there's some other Pokemon that were there. Let me see. Umbreon, Swampert, and yeah, just those guys really. Oh yeah, Clefable. So overall, this matchup was pretty weird to prep for because he had a very defensive. Like, he could have brought like a very defensive unit and just overwhelmed me with it. But it looks like it's very about. Like, we both brought like our balanced cores. So I'll just get right into the game. So without any delay, I'm gonna go my Zapdos as he goes over Jolteon. So here I'm gonna have to switch out to Escadrille, and I do have a Balloon, and he has leftovers, some leftovers. So I'm like, oh shit! Like, is this some kind of weird baton pass or something, or like just setup? So here he just goes for a Shadow Ball. So, and I'm just gonna get my rocks up because, you know, there's no other time than now to get rocks up in the game. So here he goes into Gliscor, and I think, I don't know if it's this turn or the other turn, where I make a hiccup because I think I accidentally misclick, and I think I go for EQ again. He actually has Defog and he's faster than me. As yeah, this is the turn. Like, I go for an EQ. I think I had like a phone call, and like at that same time I just grabbed my phone and I'm just like, accidentally forgot. Wait, I forgot, like, I clicked I clicked DQ again. So this is kind of bad because like I lost my air balloon for no reason. So, and he's in behind a sub, so a sub Gliscor is always bad. Let's be honest, especially with getting like recovery. So here I'm forced to take. This would mean that I'm forced to take like Chip with my Keldeo, which is not the ideal situation if you ask me. So because I have to take a time to like move the sub, and now I'm like within like KO range. So here I have to go switch out because very likely he's just gonna go to Latias. So here he actually switches back as I go for a Toxic. I'm like, don't tell me this is like, okay, don't tell me this is Heal Bell Jolteon, but very likely it's like it isn't, since he needs like electric coverage. And yeah, here at this point I'm just gonna go for another well, Hidden Power right here. So I do have Hidden Power Ice just for it to hit the Gliscor, but like, there's not really much I can do other than Toxic and Hidden Power Ice stuff. And I have to be very careful because they could just invite in a Terrakion. So he goes into Celebi as I just roost, since I might as well just get some recovery. Here he goes for the Leech Seed as I'm gonna go for Toxic because I don't, like, even if this is Nasty Plot or CM, I don't want this thing doing much. And he does have Natural Cure, but like, again, I don't want this thing doing anything to my team. So here he's gonna go set up the rocks as I get in my new or Bluetooth. He's gonna go for Seeds, and I'm gonna go for some Spikes. Again, like, where are the Spikes? Where are the Spikes, guys? Where are the Spikes? Those are some invisible Spikes right there. So he's gonna go into Gliscor, probably try to defog as I go for a knockoff, get a crit, and remove the Toxic Orb. So yay. So at this point I'm like, well, there's not much I can do. I have to go hard Zapdos. As he goes for his knockoff, and he's gonna remove my boots. So that's kind of bad for me. So here he's gonna go to Celebi again, and I'm able to get. Unfortunately, I find out this is very Spadef on Celebi, and there's not really much I could do against this thing other than Toxic. However, this does mean that T-Tar has some free reign if I could get it set up with a couple Dragon Dances. So that's going to be my end game with trying to get some Dragon Dance boosts with T-Tar and just attempt to sweep and hopefully land our moves. Of course, Suicune is still a threat, so that's like my main concern. Here he finally goes for the Terrakion play, since he's gonna get like Leech Seed recovery, and this is very bad. Here I kind of I try to be cheeky and just switch out with I think with Volt Switch, but like of course he gets me with the Stone Edge. That's kind of bad. I lose out my Zapdos. However, he's gonna sack his Usain Bolt Jolteon, so he lets it go down, and he still has the Derby. So here, since I don't have Ice Beam or Shadow Ball, I have to go drop a Draco. And yeah, this pretty much confirms that this thing is like super Spadef. And I'm like, yeah, there's like no way I could break this thing. Unless I could like try and like set up with T-Tar now. So here I kind of make a panic play and just try to set up with T-Tar, not knowing what he has, whether it's like, you know, Toxic or maybe even like Perish Song, something like that. But I don't think he would have Perish Song with the set he has, so. And he needs an attacking move. At this point, I'm boosted, but I want to see how much I can do to this Suicune. So I'm gonna go for Crunch. And that does a lot, so. But unfortunately, I think with the Leech Seed recovery, he's gonna get some HP back. And at this point, I'm like, okay, that's fine damage, but I still like I can't risk the 2-hit. Like I can't risk, you know, him living on a possible high, like, you know, roll, or there's a very good chance he just like lives the attack again. So I'm just gonna go switch out to Mew and see what he can do. As he goes for the Scald, and I try to Goldfish for the Sacred Knife, since that would actually make him like lose HP with Sand plus Burn. But yeah, here I go for the Roost, and I'm just gonna go for it. I don't know what I go for here, because as he goes for knockoff, and I go for Psychic. So, at this point in the game, I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm gonna win this. And I think the only way I'm gonna like win is if I somehow like try and weaken everything just a little bit, and like maybe have a couple hazards or two, or like just have one spike just to like sweep him with the T-Tar or like Keldeo, Latias, I don't know. So he goes as his Latias now, Green Wing. He starts Calm Minding up, and I'm like, well shit. And unfortunately, like, this thing's gonna start setting up on my face, and I just try to go for a knockoff, and I'm just gonna go hard Keldeo and just sack it, and he's gonna get like a third Calm Mind, and this is looking like this is game, and he has Dragon Pulse, so at this point I'm like, well, this is over. So I'm gonna go for Healing Wish as he goes for the Roost, and here I actually went for Healing Wish just because I felt maybe I could just get back to full health with T-Tar, since I know this is my only chance I'm gonna win this game. Like, if I could live 2 Dragon like pulses or whatever he has, which is like probably Surf or Hidden Power Fighting, maybe we have a chance. So, like, if I just Dragon Dance once, but another concern is also if he has like Scarf Terrakion, so we actually need 2 Dragon Dances to win this game. Like, because our full moveset's basically Crunch, Heavy Slam, and Aqua Tail, just for the Terrakion, Gliscor, and Heatran. So yeah, here he actually goes for the Reflect type, and that's actually pretty huge because that gives me a free Dragon Dance. And I think he didn't expect me having like I don't think he expected me going for a second Dragon Dance again. As he stays in and just tries to chip me down. But at this point, I'm like, you know what, I'm fine with this because you just lost your stab. You should have just went for the attack if you ask me. But now, like this Latios is basically the same typing as me. And I have 2 Dragon Dances accumulated. So it all comes down to if I just land my moves. And if Heavy Slam also OHKOs this Latios right now. So here I just go for Heavy Slam. And it just knocks him out clean. And this is just good because everything on his team has been chipped down in some fashion. So, I just have to land this Aquatail on this Gliscor and T-Tar, or in his Terrakion, that's good. We land the Aquatail with Gliscor, and that's amazing. So that's 1 threat down. And we just need to get rid of this Terrakion. Because obviously if we don't connect our move, he's gonna go for fighting stab, if you ask me. So the moment of truth, we go for the Aquatail and we knock him out. And at this point, it's essentially GG, since like this is like very Fidef LOV, so this is not gonna take a crunch in T-Tar, and it's already chipped down. So, and Suicune's already at this point, I don't think I could beat Mew plus if I just knock off once, I remove the leftovers, and Drill alone could just chip him down. So yeah. So again, that's GG's to Grambo. And honestly, this battle was pretty insane if you ask me. I made some terrible mistakes early on, especially the misclick on the Gliscor. That was on the Gliscor and with my Escadrille, not going for Iron Head to remove the sub. That was entirely on me. And honestly, I could have just lost right then and there. But thankfully with the T-Tar set we had this week, with the Dragon, the classic Dragon Dance Mega T-Tar set, that set was originally for Unaware Clefable, since I think even if he was max defense, Unaware Clefable, he would need it would still do 67 to 80 to 79% to Cliff, and that would have been massive, since of course if I could kill Clefable, then I could just sweep him right then and there. But thankfully he didn't bring Clefable at all, and all I needed was just time, or the right time and position to just get 2 Dragon Dances and win the game. So yeah, and also getting Weaken was massive early on. So yeah. So GG's to Grambo, and that's our week 3 battle. So we're gonna go over one more game and see how that goes. Hey, this is 517 here, and today we'll be going over our Scrabble week 4 battle, as we're up against Higgs Boston, or the LA Toddlers, or that's his team. So looking at his squad that he has, you could automatically tell it's a Sky Spam team with a good regen core, Zygarde and Volk as his setup sweepers. So it's gonna be interesting to see which one of these Pokemon are essentially the breakers, setup sweepers, and whatnot, because Lele, Zygarde could have Choice Specs and Band respectively, just being able to wall break, or they could just be set up with Calm Mind or something, or Dragon Dance Foil. Zygarde's going to be very interesting to figure out what the item and set is, because almost any item on Zygarde makes sense, except for 50% berry. Well, they're 50% berry to basically 33% berries now, so but still having something like Choice Band, Yachi, Weakness Policy is something that's very concerning to me. We'll also figure out how to address the Zygarde. Zam, this is a Mega Alec Zam. Thankfully it doesn't have Nasty Plot, since this is post, or not post, but pre DLC Owl of Armor, so. And the last 2 are just the regen core of Ala plus Tang, so yeah. Now looking at the team I brought, pretty much bulky offense with Sand, or I guess you could say this is balanced. So I did bring the Keldeo in case I have to like check the core, like the Volcarona, as well as my Sand Core with T-Tar, just drill with Sand Rush. So I'm very concerned about the possibility of like Quiver Dance Volk, as well as like Toxic on any of his Mons, because of course like if he gets a Toxic on, let's say T-Tar, Keldeo, or Zapdos, I'm gonna put on a timer. So anyways, I think this is like, well, I think that's a fair amount of scouting I could go over. So let's go into the battle. So here he leads off with the Lele as I go with Zapdos. Now, alright, so this might seem like a very bad lead at first, which it might be, but at the same time I do have a switch in with Selly, and I'm just gonna go right into it. He's gonna go straight for the Gravity, and this is very concerning to me because this means basically 1000 arrows is gonna be super effective damage instead of like neutral damage to like Zapdos and Selly. Now normally 1000 arrows, as we all know, like goes through like flying type Pokemon and like levitating stuff. But it's like, let's say like something like Zapdos or the Selly, it would be like neutral damage first. Then the second hit will be super effective. Now this is with the Gravity. This is going to be super effective 1000 arrows. Now thankfully with Gravity I do have my Leaf Seeds will be able to connect, so at least we're able to get on this snake, if you ask me. Here I'm gonna go hard into Mew as he starts Dragon Dancing, and this is a very concern because this thing could sweep me if he has like accumulated a lot of boost. So at this point I decide I think I go for knockoff here. So, and another thing to note is that he doesn't have leftovers, so that's huge. Here he's gonna go for another Dragon Dance as I go for the knockoff and move whatever item he has. He does have the Yachi. However, this Mew is kind of weird as it doesn't even have Ice Beam. I think at the time of building, I was like, I think the set it was Taunt, knockoff, Spikes. So yeah, and his team was pretty very defensive with Owl plus Tang, and I needed something for those two. So yeah, but now we have a Zygarde on deck. So so these next few turns are going to be very interesting now because you just revealed Crunch, and that does like almost 72%. So my Mew. Thankfully we do have the seeds with leftovers, so we can like roost stall him a bit. But now this comes down to a couple like mind games, if you ask me. So I have to. I went for roost there since I wanted to call whether or not like he was going to attack me. So in this situation, I decide I think I'd go for roost again. And yeah, these are like about 50-50. And here I just go to Zapdos because I realize 1000 arrows isn't gonna kill me, and I can still get the Leak Seed recovery. So in a sense, I was sacking Zapdos, but I was hoping he didn't go for 1000 arrows. But him going for Crunch implies to me that now this well, maybe he didn't have it, but then again, he should have like 1000 arrows, 100%. So just to hit Zapdos and Selly. So very unlikely at E-Spade with Psychic Terrain. So now comes out the Katrina, and he goes for the Gravity again. Goes for Taunt, and I'm gonna go for my own Spikes, but he goes for Nature's Madness as you see I knock off and I remove the eject button. Now apparently, oh well, as I switch into Sally, apparently eject button, he thought that eject button would work where he just switches automatically into Zam or Volcarona. Like how let's say you get attacked by a Pokemon. But in this situation, if you get knocked off or you lose your item, then you won't activity. You won't have the the effect there. So now this Lele is just itemless now. He does have Nature's Madness, so he has a way to hit my Sally, but it's very unlikely he has Thunderbolt. So as I do try to scout for it, he goes for the Taunt. and I'm like, alright, so I'm gonna go for heavy slam, try to get some good chip, and well, this is gonna be an Oko anyway, so yeah, we have a Spliff raise, and here I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna go hard T-Tar. I have to get rid of this bulk because at this point this is his best win con, and we are Spliff, and we should take a Bug Buzz. He goes for a second Clipper Dance as we go and land our Rock Slide. He has the Charlie Berry, but thankfully, we're able to, you know, get rid of like the Volcarona since T-Tar just has a high attack, natural attack. So here I just swap out, just scout for the Focus Blast. So he does have like one thing to note is that Sam does have the Trace, so I have to be very about it tracing Trace for like X control if it tries to Sand Rush me. So it could potentially counter Sweep me with Sand Rush. So I am gonna sack Zapdos here, and at this point I think I go into Selly. At this point, I'm just gonna go for heavy slams, and now it's just a matter of just trying to like weaken his regen core. So I'm just gonna fast pace this part of the game. So at this point in the game, it's just gonna be figuring out how to weaken his regen. Of course, I do have hazards. I do have like rock spikes as well, rocks with spikes. So if I get all my hazards, like I will be able to limit his recovery. So I also revealed T-Wave just to paralyze like maybe his maybe Paraflinch, one of these things. But thinking about it now, this would have just given him turns to like like save power points. But that's if the worst case scenario happens. So Mew does have taunt, so I could technically beat the rest of his team. But it's gonna come down to like how I could how I stall out or stall break against most of his stuff. I am gonna have to like set up all my spikes here. So as you see, I keep setting up all my spikes. And here he goes into Zam. I go for the recover, I think. And yeah, he goes into that. Goes for the sub here, and I just keep going. I just at this point I'm like I gotta get rid of Zam. But very likely this thing doesn't have like recover. He revealed sub, so that's good on our end. And technically at this point the game's over. Like I could just knock off and taunt, spam, and set up like my last layers of spikes. So yeah, like there's just no way he could win this game. Like once I knock off and get my last layers of spikes, this game is over. So and I'll just spoil the game. He basically takes just forfeits, or Jace forfeits this game. And yeah, it is gonna be a 5-0 on our end. And honestly, thinking about it, like obviously I didn't want the game to end like this, but at this point of the match, it's pretty much over. So, and it was like like why continue going for why continue the game when it's just I put him in a checkmate position anyway. So most of the time I'll say most of the time if my opponent has a genuine win con where he could stall me out, then I could say go for it. But in a situation like this, he knew that the game was there's just no way. So unless I choke, super choke, and besides this is regular season, so if it's playoffs then it's for keep, so he'll go for it. So likewise, good games to Jace as we go on with a 4-0 record. So anyways, that's all I have, and I'll move on to the next battle. Alright, so next battle in this series is our week 5 battle, as we're up against Zero, or 0-0. I don't know how he calls himself, but I'll just refer to him as Zero. So I actually battled him in DPL Season 4 Finals, and I do have a video of that. I'll probably link in the cards, so you might see it here and there in a moment. So alright, so onto the matchup team preview. So Zero has a very strong offensive team between Thundurus, Manaphy, Victini, and then you have some good setters with like Grimmsnarl with like screens and Kumo with for rocks. Delmise is a good wall breaker slash spinner slash wall, and it kind of makes sense versus my squad, especially the squad I brought, because it could check Keldeo in a way. Latias is like, you know, can't do much, and it could even hit T-Tar Mew like hard, so hits everything on a team for a good chip. So I do have to watch out for Victini, since it can be choice band, choice specs, and Manaphy, of course, Tailglow, Nancy Plot, and Thunderous as well. One concern I do have is the possible Grimmsnarl with the screens, and that could just make all these Pokemon even deadly. And not only that, Kumo does have access to Clangorous Soul in this league, so some say that was maybe an oversight, but I don't know. Maybe like I don't know about that one, so let's get on to the battle. So so let's just go on to the matchup. So here he's gonna go into Grimmsnarl as I lead off with Zapdos. I mean, at this point I left off with Zapdos like most of the time in this league. Here I'm gonna have to be careful because, you know, this Grimmsnarl could just start setting up screen, or just start like setting up with bulk ups. So either way, I gotta start like, I'm gonna like, go for a Toxic just to get a timer on this thing. So here I think I go for Volt Switch instead of being a switch, and he doesn't have a ground type, so I might as well go for that. Here he goes for like Spirit Break, and it does a lot to me. I'm like shit, this is really bad. However, it is chipping down the Grimmsnarl, so that's good. I'm gonna Mega up and just make it with my rocks, since I need those hazards just to wear down the Victini and the Thunderous. So unless they're boots. So yeah, this Kumo revealed like leftover, so that implies it's not like you know, a setup. He does have rocks here, so again, implying even more this like it's like non-rocks, or not non-rocks, but like a non-setup variant. So, or an offensive variant, as some like to say. Here he's able to tank the Psychic, goes for the Toxic. However, like with the Synchronized, basically I just Toxic his guy, and since he's in Under Sand, he's gonna get worn down pretty quickly. However, here I decided I think I wanted to sack my T-Tar, and just get a free switch into one of my to either Drill or Latias, but he actually goes into Grimmsnarl, and that's pretty interesting to me, because I think he just wants to get up at like more screens, especially as the Reflect. Here I'm gonna go for my Dragon Dance. So yes, I am like rocks with 2 attacks, TD. So this is actually kind of good for me, because I should be able to kill this Grimmsnarl with a Heavy Slam from the range it's at. And now he goes into Manaphy, and we should be able to get some good chip onto this Manaphy. However, like since he has a Reflect up, like this could be really good or really bad. It depends on the item he has. Here I'm gonna go for the Crunch, and I do get a defense drop, and he goes for the Surf. I think he really wants me gone with that, so I'm gonna go for the Volt Switch or Toxic. I think I go for Volt Switch here, and honestly I go hard at Keldeo, because I think at the time I didn't like have any good switch-ins, and I was really hoping I could have just, you know, went for like a, you know, a Toxic there. But now I'm like, you know what, I might as well just bait him out and just like get like a Rocky Helmet chip. So here he's gonna go into, I'm gonna go my Zapdos in to get the Rocky Helmet chip, as he goes for the Power Whip, and yeah, he does have the leftover, so I'm gonna have to go for Roost, as he will likely go for the Toxic. So it'll be interesting to see what this moveset this Grimmsnarl, or not Grimmsnarl, but this Delmise has. He has a Rapid Spin, so of course he's gonna remove my rocks, and with my hazards removed, it's gonna be really annoying to deal with chipping his team down without T-Tar. So here he goes for a knockoff and removes my Rocky Helmet, but again, this is like good for me because I'm getting rid of his Delmise, and his Green Setter is gone, so that's pretty good if you ask me. However, he goes into Thunderous and just knocks me out with Thunderbolt. So, and out comes the Latias, and this Latias is actually a very bulky Lati. It's enough to outspeed the Manaphy Victini, but it has like a lot of HP, speed, and some bulk. Obviously no offensive attack investment, so or special attack investment. So here, as you see, we're able to take this hidden power ice pretty well, as we're gonna go for the ice or the psychic. So here he goes for it again, and I was actually anticipating him having like going for a nasty plot there. Here I decide, you know what, I'm gonna go for a nasty plot, as he actually stays in, keeps going for hidden power ice, and that's pretty huge for me because now I just basically OHKO this Thunderous. So yeah, that turn was like pretty huge, but as you see now, like Victini just outspeeds me, so I already know that this thing is Scarf, but he goes into Manaphy, but as you see, Manaphy is gonna get two-shotted by Psychic. However, I really want to get this thing healthy again, and he's gonna go for the Ice Beam, and hopefully I don't get frozen. Likewise, I don't. And I'm gonna go remove the Manaphy, so as I just keep gradually recovering from my leftovers. So here he could go for Trick, but at this point he's gonna keep going for U-turn, and I'm gonna go for Psychic just to get as much chip as possible onto incoming Victini or Kamo. So here he's gonna finally go for the V-Create, as this is obviously like I mean at this point the game is over, since I could just get like he's gonna be like locked into like V-Create, and he's gonna keep lowering his defenses and speed. So yeah, and I think that's about it. So Drill's gonna just claim this kill, and yeah, GG's to 0, and we are now 5-0. So honestly, this matchup was pretty like weird because like I thought he was gonna like this was gonna be like straight up HO, but at the same time like with Mons like Victini, like Kamo, Delmise, I think it was a very quirky team at best he brought. Like I think those four were like the Mons I anticipated, especially like with Grimmsnarl. It's just that like I think the other Mons that he had, like Uxie and Porygon 2 were like more pressing for me, but you know Delmise is also threatening to like half my entire team, so I could see why he brought it. And obviously I didn't prep much for that game, but obviously I was focusing more on the the top heavy stuff that he brought, so because Manaphy Victini can just overwhelm me if I play badly. So but thankfully we're able to overcome those two. So yeah, likewise good games to 0, as we are gonna be heading off to week 6 in a bit, so we'll see you in momentarily.